Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Okay, guys, once again, leaving Andrew Berry in charge of this thing is a total disaster. He doesn't know what he's doing. We want offense, but we're going to go after defensive people. You lost Harbaugh. You weren't going to get Harbaugh. So what are we going to do? We're going to turn around and get a guy from Miami who's the same as a Stefanski, no discipline, doesn't make changes. So let's go get this guy. Why? Because we don't want to take time to get anybody else. And by the way, nobody's going to want to come there anyway, not if they're running under Andrew Berry. When are we going to figure this out? The guy we had, Mike Vrabel, the guy who might win the Super Bowl this year, we had him in our back pocket and we let him get away. We're just going to get nothing again, guys, and we're going to go on to the same thing again next year. Nothing.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Spencer, again, we hear a lot about Vrabel. Vrabel said he said he would listen if they talked to him. That listening is different than, I wanted the head coaching job there. He went to a place that had a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for, like, he was in the building, and if you had just gone through this process last year, maybe you could have convinced him to stay. I don't know. Like, I think about that sometimes, and I get where people are sort of upset about it. But to your point, it's not like the Browns were the only job available, would have been the only job available last year. If he was choosing between the Patriots and the Browns, he might have still chosen the Patriots. It's not like that place, everyone is going to bring up, like, well, hey, he has Cleveland ties, and he's from Northeast Ohio, and, why wouldn't he want to stick around? But at the same time, he also has ties to New England from his days playing there, and there's all that. So it's not like both places wouldn't have sort of tugged at the heartstrings a little bit there. So I'm not sold he would have totally said yes, but I think I can understand why people are mad that maybe they didn't get the chance to hire Vrabel last year. I don't know, and it's going to be interesting because there's so many different options and routes that they can go. It's going to just kind of come down to like what you want. I always kind of push back on the notion that nobody's going to come here or whatever, though, because again, it's one of 32 jobs.
Yep.
Like, have the Browns ever not found a coach? Like, I'm sure there's probably. Like, yeah, did you have a chance at Harbaugh? Probably not, because it's not the best situation. But it doesn't mean you can't find the right coach or a good coach. I mean, I think they did that with Kevin Stefanski back in 2020. Like, they found a good coach, and he at least started to turn around, a pretty dilapidated organization and sort of established a culture. The last couple of years, maybe that went to the wayside. I do wonder how much the Andrew Berry part of this plays a role, because a lot of time, and I've talked about that a lot, like, If like generally when these situations happen, when a GM stays and they hire a new coach, usually like the next year or within the next couple of years, the GM's getting fired and the coach gets to pick his next GM. So I don't know how that's going to necessarily work perfectly, but I guess it depends also on like who they pick, right? Like who Andrew Berry gets to sort of anoint the next head coach. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I think it's going to be just, one of these things that no one's gonna believe the Browns can do the right thing or choose the right coach, or that it's going to be any good until we get to see it on the field and see what the actual results are.